For 15 years, our love story was written in 999 proposals. Leo, my childhood sweetheart, had asked me to be his wife almost 1,000 times. And for my music, for my career, I had said number 999 times. After winning the International Grand Prix, the pinnacle of my dreams, I flew home to give him the surprise of a lifetime. I found him at the Hilltop Hotel where we'd shared so many memories. Dressed in a simple white gown, I knelt on one knee, holding out a single perfect rose. "Leo," I said, my voice thick with emotion, "you've waited long enough. This time it's my turn. Will you let me be your wife?" His eyes, usually so full of adoration for me, flickered with an unmistakable joy, but it was clouded by something else. A profound hesitation. As I watched him, confused, a small commotion broke out beside us. His new assistant, a young woman I barely knew, suddenly crumpled to the floor unconscious. In a heartbeat, everything changed. Leo dropped my rose, his face a mask of panic. He launched himself towards her, skidding to his knees. "Chloe! Wake up, Chloe! Don't you dare do this to me!" He gathered her limp body into his arms with a desperate tenderness that shattered my world. As he raced towards the hospital, leaving me kneeling alone amidst the ruins of my grand gesture, I finally understood. The man who had been my constant, my anchor, had quietly drifted away to another shore. My hands trembling, I pulled out my phone and dialed a number that spanned oceans. "Julian," I said, my voice hollow, "come back home and marry me." There was a 2-second pause. "Jasmine, are you serious?" Julian's voice was incredulous. "You're dumping Leo to marry me? This is the guy you've been playing house with since we were kids." I looked around the now empty, desolate hotel terrace. The carefully arranged flowers seemed to mock me. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "No more games, Julian. Are you in or are you out?" His reply was immediate. "Of course I'm in. For you, Jazz. Anything." We set a date and I hung up. The hotel was remote, perched on the side of a mountain. I waited for 3 hours but no taxi came. Then the sky broke open. Thunder cracked overhead, and a torrential downpour soaked my gown, plastering it to my skin. I let out a bitter laugh. Leo had never let me suffer like this. With him, every bitter medicine came with a piece of candy. Every moment of exhaustion was met with a soft bed. He was always there, my steadfast soldier, waiting for me with a bouquet in hand. "My princess," he used to say, "I know you have mountains to climb. I'll wait for you at the bottom. Conquer your dreams and then come home to me." I had conquered them. I had the trophy, the acclaim, the world at my feet. But when I turned back, he was gone. My phone rang, dragging me from my thoughts. It was Leo. The sound of rain drumming against his car window was loud. His voice was a frantic growl. "Jasmine, where are you? It's pouring. Don't just wander off like that." I looked up, seeing the blurry headlights of his sports car in the distance. "I'm up ahead," I choked out. He let out a long sigh of relief, his voice softening. "You scared me to death. If anything happened to you, I don't think I could live." I didn't speak. As he drew closer and stepped out into the rain, the tears I'd been holding back finally fell. "So you do still want me?" Leo's brow furrowed with self-reproach. He swept me up into his arms and carried me to the car. "Are you an idiot? How could I ever not want you?" he murmured, his voice thick. "You're the love of my life. I'd give up the entire world before I gave up on you." He shrugged off his suit jacket, draping it over my shivering shoulders, and pulled out a soft towel, my dedicated towel he always kept in the car, and began to gently dry my hair. "Today was just a crazy situation," he explained, his words tumbling out. "That assistant is new, clumsy. I was just worried if something happened to her on my watch, it would look bad for the company." He chattered on, a hint of a smile touching his lips. "You have no idea what she's like in the office. Breaks my antiques, cries if you so much as look at her the wrong way." It was strange. He'd always been so dismissive of other women. I forced a smile, looking at the familiar adoration in his eyes, and cut him off. "There's a strange smell in the car. Can you open a window?" Leo hated perfumes. For him, I'd given them all up. This scent, a cloying, cheap floral, was something he should have despised. He arched an eyebrow. "Really? I don't smell anything. It might be Chloe's perfume. I've told her not to wear it, but she never listens. So infuriating." He kept his eyes on the road, but a ghost of a smile played on his lips. as if lost in a memory of her. I took a deep breath. Leo, I said, each word deliberate. Can you fire her? The car screeched to a halt. He stared at me, his face a mask of disbelief. What did you just say? I held his gaze, a final desperate flicker of hope in my heart. Just say yes, Leo. Say yes and I'll forgive you everything. Jasmine, she's just doing her job. How can I fire her for no reason? A bitter smile touched my lips. I looked away, my hope extinguished. I was just kidding. I wanted to scare you. He let out a breath he'd been holding. That's not a funny joke. You really had me worried. Seeing the look on my face, he took my hand, his thumb stroking the back of it soothingly. Don't be upset, princess. There's a big surprise waiting for you at home. I didn't answer, turning to watch the rain-streaked world fly by. He used to be so careful, refusing to even hire female assistants, just to put my mind at ease while I was abroad. Once a woman had slipped through HR and developed a crush on him. He had fired her on the spot in a blaze of fury. My heart and my soul belonged to Jasmine. No other woman is worthy of even a glance, he declared, even burning the clothes she had accidentally touched and sending me a video. See, princess? Not even a female mosquito will get near me. That was just a year ago. I was taking my first steps onto the world stage, and the man I loved adored me completely. I was so happy. Now, not only was there another woman, but his heart had tilted on its axis. When we arrived home, he opened the door with a mischievous grin. Confetti cannons exploded. A chorus of our friends shouted, "Marry him! Marry him!" The room was a fantasy of pink balloons. A giant banner screamed, "Marry me!" I turned and Leo was on one knee, holding up a diamond ring the size of a pigeon's egg. His eyes were full of a deep, theatrical emotion. Jasmine, I messed up your proposal today, so please let me make up for it with my 1,000th. Will you marry me? The crowd roared, but I just shook my head, gently pushing the ring away. No. The air went still. The cheering died, replaced by a shocked, breathless silence. The woman who had proposed that very morning was now refusing him. He scrambled to his feet, a nervous energy about him, and put his arm around my shoulders. Why, Jasmine? You said you wanted to marry me. He saw my tightly pressed lips and realization dawned. You're still angry about Chloe, aren't you? She's just an employee. She's nothing compared to you. I remained silent. He began to panic. Jasmine, come on. We've been in love for 15 years. Are you really going to let something so small get in our way? It was a misunderstanding, I promise. I'll keep my distance from her from now on, okay? He pleaded. Besides, I didn't do anything wrong. It's normal for a boss to show concern for an employee. As he spoke, his eyes followed my gaze to the sofa. Lying there, almost hidden by a cushion, was a cute polka-dotted bra. It wasn't my style. The color drained from his face. He instinctively moved to block my view. Jasmine, listen to me. I swear I haven't done anything to betray you, I swear. The sharp crack of my hand against his cheek echoed through the silent room. He stood frozen, a bright red handprint blooming on his face. His eyes filled not with anger, but with guilt and a heartbreaking self-reproach. Jasmine, you have to believe me. Believe him? The faint cheap scent of that same perfume clung to the lingerie. How am I supposed to believe you? Am I supposed to believe you two got naked but didn't do anything? The thought was a physical blow. While he had abandoned me in the rain, he had been here in our home, entangled with another woman. Our home a shrine to me with my photos on every wall, my life filling every corner. Now it was tainted. His words caught in his throat. All he could manage was a pale, I didn't. Just then a timid voice cut through the tension. Excuse me, was the proposal a success? Everyone turned. It was Chloe, standing in the doorway in a plain dress, holding a lopsided, homemade-looking cake. I came to congratulate you. Happy wedding. At the sight of her, Leo let go of me. What are you doing here? He snapped. I told you not to come here again. Her eyes reddened. I just remembered I left my change of clothes here, she stammered. And I wanted to bake a cake for you both. I didn't mean anything by it. Leo's expression softened instantly. I know. Leave the cake. Just go. He took the clumsy cake from her and turned to me, a desperate plea in his eyes. See, Jasmine? If what you're thinking was true, she would never dare to show up here. Don't you believe me now? I was about to answer when a deafening clap of thunder shook the house. Chloe screamed and dropped to the floor, curling into a ball. The cake fell from Leo's hands. Without a single thought, he rushed to her side, pulling her into his arms, murmuring the words I knew so well, the words that had always been mine. It's okay. I'm here. Nothing can hurt you. My heart, which had been cracking all day, finally shattered into dust. Don't you remember, Leo? I'm afraid of thunder too. I remembered a stormy night in my dorm room abroad, trembling under the covers. He had taken a last-minute 20-hour flight just to hold me and whisper, I'm here. No storm can harm my princess. Chloe fainted again in his arms. He looked up at me, his face a mess of conflict. Jasmine, I bit my lip, a fresh wave of pain washing over me. Don't you dare go, I whispered fiercely. If you go, I'll never. He didn't even wait for me to finish. He swept her up and ran out into the storm, leaving me behind once more. I finally broke, a great, heaving sob tearing from my chest. I picked up the massive diamond ring from the floor and tried to slide it onto my finger. It wouldn't fit. Leo, you gave me 999 rings. How on this one did you forget my size? Later that night, I woke from a fitful sleep. My phone was ringing. It was Julian. Jasmine, he said, his voice alive with a strange energy. You'll never guess what I'm looking at right now. What? I mumbled, uninterested. Leo and his little assistant. They're in the maternity ward. The word struck me like lightning. I scrambled out of bed, not even bothering with shoes, and raced out the door. The drive to the hospital was a blur. The maternity ward? Why would he be there with Chloe? I met Julian and we ducked into his car, parked across the street. He handed me a thick folder. It was filled with pictures of Leo and Chloe. I did some digging, he said gently. It started a few months ago. He got drunk, a one-night stand. She got pregnant. They've been tangled up ever since. My heart plummeted. I saw the date stamp on a photo of them going into a hotel. It was the day I won the Grand Prix. The day I had called him. Again and again, desperate to share my joy, only for the calls to go unanswered. He'd messaged me late that night. Sorry, Jazz. Exhausted from a work dinner and fell asleep. I love you. A few hours later, another message. I really do love you. I'll never marry anyone but you. Came with a transfer for $99,000. At the time, I'd only worried about his health. The thought of him cheating had been impossible. The photos told a story. At first, he looked annoyed, dragged along to her prenatal checkups. Then he looked calm, posing for a picture with her. In the last ones, he was actively helping her pick out baby clothes. His heart had been melted so easily by another woman, by another life. I laughed and then I cried, my body shaking with the force of my grief. Julian pulled me into a hug, gently wiping my tears. Hey, princess. Don't cry. You see him for what he is now. He's not worth it. Just then, Leo and Chloe emerged from the hospital. Chloe was crying. I know, Leo. I know you love Miss Lynn. I'm not asking for anything. I don't want to be the other woman. Just say the word and I'll get rid of the baby. I swear. Leo held an umbrella over her, his face anxious. I never said I didn't want the child. I just need you to stay away from Jasmine and me for a while. You know. She clutched her coat. I know you don't love me. You hate me for this, for getting pregnant. So I'll solve your problem. I'll get rid of the baby and disappear. You'll never have to see me again. She tore away from him and ran into the rain. But Leo, as if a dam had finally broken inside him, threw the umbrella aside. He chased her down, pulled her into his arms, and kissed her with a fierce, desperate passion. Who said I don't want to see you? He said, his voice ragged. Chloe, I don't know what's happening to me, but the thought of you leaving, it terrifies me. You and the baby. You can't disappear. He held her face in his hands. But I can't lose Jasmine either. So I have to ask you to be patient. I'm so sorry, Chloe. Can you forgive me? An icy chill shot through me. He had been lying to me from the very beginning. It felt like an eternity before they finally parted. A single tear traced a path down my cheek. I asked Julian to take me home. When we arrived, he handed me a small packet of herbs. For your circulation, he said, looking away. I saw a specialist. And hey, don't be too sad. I realized he had gone to the hospital for me. A warmth spread through my chest. Later that night, Leo came home smelling of alcohol. He collapsed onto the bed and held me tight. "Marry me, Jasmine," he sobbed into my shoulder. "Marry me tomorrow. You promised. You said you'd marry me after you won." I shook my head trying to push him away. He went wild, his voice a raw scream. "Why? You promised me, Lynn Jasmine. You promised." I froze, staring at the frantic, broken man before me, and felt nothing. Not a single spark of love. "Jasmine, please marry me. I'm so scared we're going to lose each other. I'm so scared. Scared I'll find out about the affair? Scared I'll discover the baby?" I laughed, a hollow sound. Then I wrapped my arms around him. "You silly goose. I was just teasing you." His face transformed, a mixture of shock and elation. "I knew it. I knew you'd marry me. You love me too much to ever leave me." He pulled out the massive ring again, stubbornly trying to force it onto my finger. My finger was red and swollen, but he kept trying, his hands trembling. "I'm sorry, I don't know why the size is wrong. Don't be angry. I'll buy you an even bigger one tomorrow." I shook my head and pointed to a large chest in the corner, filled with 15 years of gifts and memories. "I was just looking through these. Maybe we can use some of them for the wedding tomorrow." Overjoyed, he opened the chest. "Look, the paper stars we folded in high school. You thought I was moving away and you cried your eyes out." He pulled out a letter. "My first love letter to you." It read, "Leo will love Jasmine forever. Only her. If I fail, may I drop dead." A cold smile touched my lips. "The wedding is all set for tomorrow," he said, his eyes shining. "You'll be my wife, and we'll be together forever." Just then, a lullaby-like ringtone sounded from his phone. He answered it instantly. "What? Don't panic, I'm on my way." He leaped to his feet, kicking over the box of stars, scattering them across the floor. "Jasmine, the wedding car will be on time tomorrow. I'll have your dress sent over," he called over his shoulder as he ran out. I stared at the scattered stars, a perfect metaphor for our shattered past. I found a lighter and set fire to it all. Then I called Julian. "Wear something handsome. You're crashing a wedding tomorrow." He laughed, a rich, carefree sound. "Leave it to me." The next morning, I sat before the mirror and carefully applied my makeup. The wedding car drove me through streets decorated in my favorite color, lavender purple. Under the envious gaze of the entire city, I walked down a lavish aisle. At the other end stood Leo, looking as handsome as he had in all my girlhood dreams. He took my waist, his eyes full of adoration. "Why are you wearing flat shoes? Didn't you like the custom heels I had made?" I just shook my head. He was too lost in his joy to notice anything was wrong. The officiant began. "Miss Lynn Jasmine, do you take Mr. Song Leo to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, for richer, for poorer?" Leo looked at me, his expression tense with anticipation. The silence stretched. "Jasmine?" he whispered, his eyes widening in horror as he finally understood. I looked up, gave him a brilliant smile, and shoved him away with all my might. "I do not. And you cheating, disgusting bastard, can go to hell." I turned and ran. I leaped off the stage, landing securely in Julian's arms. He was dressed in a white tuxedo, his grin wild and triumphant. He scooped me up and carried me towards his car, flashing a cheeky grin back at Leo. "Jasmine's my bride now." Leo's eyes were red with fury and disbelief. He stumbled after us. "No, Jasmine, this isn't funny. Don't go. Please don't go." As he reached the car, I threw the entire folder of photos in his face. "I find men like you filthy," I spat. He trembled as the pictures of him and Chloe rained down on him like daggers. "It's not what it looks like. I love you. Only you. You love me? So you slept with her? You love me? So you wanted to keep her child? You love me? So you plan to lie to me forever. Enjoying the company of two women." I shouted, my voice ringing with clarity. "You don't love me, Leo. You only love yourself." The light in his eyes died. He clawed at the car door, his face a mask of agony. "You knew, didn't you? Why can't you believe I had no choice? I love you, Jasmine. I only love you." Suddenly, Chloe appeared, clutching her pregnant belly, tears streaming down her face. "I'm sorry, Miss Lynn. It's all my fault. Please don't be angry with Leo." Leo whirled on her. "Why are you even here? Why didn't you just say no that night? Why did you have to bring me that soup?" he roared. "If you hadn't seduced me, none of this would have happened. Chloe stared at him, utterly stunned. The man who just days ago had held her and promised he wanted her and their child was now blaming her for everything. Seeing this side of him, this pathetic, cowardly stranger, I felt a wave of disgust. Julian had heard enough. "Are you even a man?" he snarled. "You can't control your own dick, so you blame a woman?" I looked at the miserable scene, Leo dark and furious, Chloe sobbing beside him, and sighed. "Let's go, Julian." As our car sped away, the flashes of the arriving media exploded behind us. We saw Leo chase us, then trip and fall hard on the pavement. His cries echoed in the air. "Jasmine! You can't leave me! Don't leave me!" The golden boy of our city, now a pathetic, disgraced mess. No one looked at him with sympathy, only scorn. I didn't look back. "Feeling sorry for him?" Julian asked, his voice laced with a hint of jealousy. I shook my head. No, just wistful. 15 years was a long time. He had been like family. Julian placed his hand over mine. "Look forward, princess. The happy days are just getting started." I noticed we were heading away from the city. "Where are you taking me?" He grinned mischievously. "To our honeymoon, of course." On the plane to Bali, the place I had always dreamed of for my honeymoon. It all felt surreal. I hadn't just run away from my wedding. I had eloped with Julian. And for the first time in a long time, my heart felt light. My phone, however, did not. When I finally turned it on, it was flooded with messages. My father's voice was hoarse when he called. "Sweetheart, what in the world happened? Your mother and I have been worried sick." I told him everything. He wasn't angry. He was heartbroken for me. "It's my fault," he said. "I thought that boy growing up with you was safe. I never imagined he would do this to you. You have my full support, sweetheart. The Lin family is done with the songs." He then transferred $5 million to my account and told me to go shopping. Leo's calls were relentless. I turned my phone off. For a few days it was paradise. Julian and I ran on the beach, letting the sea wash away all the pain. One night at a barbecue, I insisted on getting drunk. As Julian went to get more beer, a familiar, furious figure appeared out of the darkness. "Jasmine, I knew I'd find you here. Do you have any idea how worried I've been?" It was Leo. He dragged me behind some bushes, his eyes red-rimmed and wild. "Jasmine, please just give me one chance to explain. I'm begging you." I nodded just to get him to release me. He looked terrible. Unshaven, his broad shoulders slumped in defeat. He pulled a small bag of ashes from his pocket. "Why, Jasmine? Why did you burn our memories? How could you be so cruel?" "You have someone new," I said coldly. "Why keep that old junk around?" "It's not junk. You're the only woman I will ever marry. Nothing can change that," he insisted. "And Chloe? What about Chloe's child?" He flinched. "I'll handle it. I'll send her away. The baby won't be a problem." "You're a monster," I whispered. "You make a mistake and you expect a woman and an innocent child to pay the price?" "What other choice do I have?" he screamed, his eyes red with frantic tears. "I can't lose you, Jasmine. I'd rather die." He grabbed my hand and tried to force a new, even larger diamond ring onto my finger. "If you wear this, you'll be my bride again. You'll come back to me." The man was insane. "Leo, we are over," I screamed. "This is kidnapping." I slapped him, but he didn't even seem to feel it, his eyes fixed on the ring. Just as it was about to slide onto my finger, I screamed for the only person I could trust. "Julian, help me." A figure flew out of the darkness. Julian, holding a beer bottle, delivered a flying kick that sent Leo sprawling. "Who the hell gave you permission to touch my wife?" he growled. Leo, bleeding from his lips, scrambled up. "She's my wife, you bastard. You think you can win? You've never won against me, not once." It was true. They had been rivals their whole lives. Julian was always in his shadow, but now Julian's eyes were cold and hard. He walked toward Leo. "You were right. Couldn't beat you when we were kids. You took a lot from me. But things are different now. You will not take what is most important to me." He glanced at me, and his meaning was clear. They started fighting, a messy, desperate brawl. "You can have anything, but not Jasmine. She's mine," Leo yelled. Julian smashed the beer bottle over his head. "Keep dreaming. She could never love a scumbag like you." I pulled Julian back. "That's enough. We can't kill him." At the police station, we learned Leo's visa was forged. When they tried to separate us for questioning, he panicked. "She's my wife. We can't be separated." He reached for me, but I pulled away. "He has been harassing me," I told the police calmly. "I have no relationship with him." I then turned and began to gently clean a small cut on Julian's hand. "Jasmine!" Leo cried out, his voice full of disbelief. "I'm the one who's hurt. Why are you helping him? I'm your husband." I ignored him and walked out with the smugly victorious Julian. 2 weeks later, back home, Julian and I were planning our wedding. For me, it was a practical decision. My family's reputation had taken a hit, and an alliance with the equally powerful Jiang family was the logical move. Julian, however, was genuinely happy. He took me to try on wedding dresses, his eyes sparkling. "Why are you so happy?" I asked. "It's just a business arrangement." He grinned. "No reason. I just think you look cute when you're pretending you're not thrilled to be marrying me." He handed me a satin strapless gown. "You'll love this one." I was stunned. "How did you know this is my favorite style?" He winked. "That's a secret." He pushed me toward the dressing room. As I turned, I saw a dark figure lunging at me. It was Chloe, her eyes wild, a knife in her hand. "It's all your fault. You stole my happiness." She stabbed at me, catching my shoulder. "It wasn't my fault, Chloe, it was Leo's," I reasoned, trying to fend her off. "I don't care. It all started with you. You're the one who ruined everything." Julian burst in, hearing the commotion. He threw himself in front of me, kicking the knife from her hand. "Are you insane? You want to hurt someone, you come for me." Security guards grabbed her. "She took my baby's father away." Chloe screamed, her voice thick with hatred. "She took away my child's right to be born. Why shouldn't I blame her?" Suddenly Leo was there. He slapped Chloe hard across the face. "You bitch. If you have a problem, you take it up with me. Why would you hurt her?" He looked at her with utter contempt. "It was all my fault. Why are you so obsessed with Jasmine?" Chloe stared at him, tears streaming down her face. "You said you wanted me. You said you wanted this baby. Why did you change your mind?" She glared at me. "It's because of her, isn't it? If it weren't for her, you wouldn't have abandoned me. I was supposed to be the one to marry you." "Stop dreaming," Leo said, his voice cold. "The only person I have ever loved is Jasmine. That will never change." Years ago, those words would have made my heart sing. Now they were just a sad, pathetic joke. "I will never marry you," I said, my voice firm. I gripped Julian's hand, drawing strength from his warmth. "I'm marrying Julian." Leo's face crumpled. He fell to his knees, all his pride gone. "Jasmine, please, I love you. We can't be apart. I'll do anything, just don't leave me." "I don't need your worthless love anymore, Leo," I said calmly. "If you bother us again, I will have you arrested." He buried his head in his hands, his body racked with sobs. "Even if you don't forgive me, I want you to know my heart will always be yours. If you ever change your mind, I'll be waiting. I can wait forever." I smiled a sad smile, remembering the ardent boy who had waited for me 999 times. He had gotten lost somewhere along the way, burying 15 years of love under a mountain of lies. Julian held me tight and carried me out of there. At the hospital, the doctor said my wound was minor. Julian hugged me, his body trembling with relief. "You scared me so much. It was just like that time after school when those thugs cornered you. I was so scared I cried." I remembered that day. Leo had rushed in and saved me, but I had never told anyone about that. "How did you know?" Julian blushed. I wanted to walk home with you, but I was too shy to ask. When I saw you were in trouble, I called Leo." My eyes widened. "That was you? Why didn't you ever tell me?" He looked down, his expression full of a long-held hurt. "Back then you only had eyes for Leo. Would you even have noticed me?" Looking at his shy, handsome face, it all clicked into place. All his awkwardness, his quiet rivalry, his constant presence at the edge of my life. He had loved me all along. I couldn't help but laugh. I reached up and pinched his cheek. "Well, from now on, I only have eyes for you." His own eyes widened in disbelief. He pulled me into a fierce, joyful hug. "Really? You really mean that?" Thinking of all his quiet care, his unwavering support, my heart felt full. A life with him felt right. Just then my phone rang. It was my parents. "It's Leo. Chloe stabbed him." And then, And then she jumped from the roof of the hospital with the baby. When we arrived, Leo was barely hanging on. When he saw me, a single tear escaped from under his oxygen mask. He had 1,000 things to say, I'm sure. But it didn't matter anymore. I gently squeezed his hand. Goodbye, Leo. I turned and saw Julian, his face serious and full of love. A real smile, bright and hopeful, spread across my face. Perhaps my own happiness was just beginning.